Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. Download your starter guide so you can discover and master this amazing deck. Welcome to a new pick-a-card reading. We are doing a focus today on your guides. And we are going to look at 3 messages from your guides or your source, whichever one you want to tune into. And the way we're going to figure out these 3 messages is through a 3D line of 7. So a 3D line of 7 is a single layout that has 3 lines. Each line is made up of 7 cards. And what's special about this layout is that it uses 3 decks. So each line comes from 1 deck. So as you can see, I've got the 3 decks here. We're going to start with the Titania deck, and then we're going to move to the Tarot Lenormand, and then the Blink of an Eye. So the first line will be from Titania's deck, the second one from the Tarot Lenormand, and the third one from the Blink of an Eye. I like to start with the larger deck and then go to the smaller one because that way they appear better so you can see the different lines. Now, my intention is that there are 3 separate messages, but they could be related. And if you've seen these pick-a-cards before, you know that at the end of the 3D layout, I read the 7 triplets in a line of 7 or the 9 triplets in a 3D portrait. So I'm going to do 3 separate readings, reading 1, reading 2, and reading 3, and they are time-stamped in the description box. So pause the video and think about which reading you want to tune into so that you can receive the 3 messages from your guides or source. And I will see you in your reading. Okay, welcome to reading 1. We are starting with Titania's deck. Like we said, we are looking at 3 messages from your guides or your source, and we are here doing message number 1. So let's go ahead and deal out this first line of 7. Okay, here is your first line of 7, your first message. And I have to say, it really stands out that in the middle we have the sun, which is a very bright card. And on the corners, we have the clover and the star. And these 2 are also very, very bright cards. So all 3 cards are some of the brightest cards in the deck. Clearly, we are looking at wish fulfillment, healing, happiness, and also I am seeing the need for faith. So I think a key message that's going to come out of this line is that you need to trust in your luck and you need to trust in your ability and in your path ahead. So let's back up to the beginning of the line. We've got the clover, then the bear and book, and then the sun. So the book is often a card of the unknown, and with the sun, it certainly suggests a revelation because the sun brings out the light and shines its light on everything. And with the bear here, there can be something very significant that's going to come through or materialize. The bear can also represent a person, usually someone who is powerful and influential and who is supportive. So this can mean someone that you already know, or it can represent someone that you don't. And that's because of the book, because the book is a card of the unknown. So together here, we see that you have an opportunity to get the support of someone, and maybe they can deliver some really good news. Maybe you're already waiting for them for this good news, and we see here that it comes through. Or there can be a significant revelation that comes through and that materializes. Now, something else that comes to mind is that the book is often a card of expression in terms of reading, writing, learning, and any related activity. And by extension, it could be a card of creativity. And because of the beautiful sun, I think that it could be time for you to open up about something. This could be a major step for you because of the bear, but you definitely have a lot of luck. And the clover can also suggest a bit of risk-taking. So you might want to, go with your desire to express and pursue this objective. Now, on the other side of the sun, we have the road, snake, and star. Now, the snake is often a deceptive card. It can be quite negative, and it can suggest someone toxic, but it does have a clever side, and this clever side comes out with bright cards like the star. The snake is also a winding path. especially with the road. So the path to your goal or to your achievement and this pursuit is maybe not straightforward, but it's definitely worth your while. So take this as another message of having faith in your path, even if it doesn't always seem like you're on the right track because you are taking turns, you are still on the right track. Now, I don't think that this snake here represents a person, which is the context when it's usually pretty negative. I think this is more about you. And with the star, like I said, it can bring out the positive aspects of the snake. Something else that the snake suggests is that it can be a bit selfish, but the enlightened version of this is that you put yourself first and that you pursue your objectives. So we definitely see that this is a time to embrace yourself, your path, and to take these bigger steps that you perhaps had been hesitating about. We see the beautiful 3 positive cards here, Clover, Star, and Sun. So they are very encouraging. They encourage you to have faith, to trust, and to maybe take a bit of risk, like take a bit of a jump or a leap of faith to pursue these things that you want to pursue. Now, if in any case it might apply to you that the snake represents a person, which I don't think so, but just in case it does, I do think that you can easily move away from this person and move on. The Clover, Sun, and Star are also really good healing cards. So you could get a lot of inspiration and a sense of release and relief, and you could even rise above the whole situation, any of these possible challenging situations that can come up with a snake. The Star and the Sun are very broad, overarching cards. So they very much help you rise above and move past any such challenges. Again, I don't think this is the main interpretation of the snake. I think this is more about your path and putting yourself first and moving forward with these goals and ambitions. So this is a very beautiful first message. We're going to move on to message number 2. This is with the Tarot Lenormand deck, and we're going to see what is the second message from your guides or source. So let's go ahead and deal out line number 2. Okay, here is a wonderful line number 2. And notice that we have a second snake on top of the first snake, and then we have the Ring and Woman, which highlights the relationship. Now, the first 4 cards here, very beautiful. These are some of the brightest cards. We have another Sun, which we got in the first line, another Sun, and we have the beautiful flowers in the middle. The flowers is another one of those very bright and optimistic cards, and it's also really good with creativity. The Key is another lovely card. It's a card of success and solutions, and it's definitely about unlocking potential. And the Stork is a card of action and movement. So we're seeing another clear message of your ability to unlock your potential, to unlock opportunities. And it does seem to have to do with creativity. Again, so in the first line, it was the book with the sun that suggested this element of opening up and releasing your creativity. And here we're seeing it as well. And we see it in an even clearer way because the bouquet is essentially a card of creativity as well. And the sun is a very bright card, and the Key and Stork is very much an action of unlocking. So again, this is an encouragement for you to move ahead and take these steps forward. Now, on the other side of the flowers or bouquet, we have the Ring, Snake, and Woman. So this clearly suggests a relationship because we have the woman itself. And on top of this, we have the ring and we have the snake in the middle. So in this line, unlike in the first line, we have a clear reference to a person. Now, like I said earlier, the snake is a challenging card. It is often a card of someone deceptive. And so there can be someone who is playing against you. This can be someone who is envious of you and who could be, trying to discourage you, or maybe is just, wanting to sabotage you potentially. Now, we do have the flowers with the ring. And this would suggest a positive relationship, but we have to be really careful with the snake and woman after the ring. And in fact, even though they're not right next to each other, the flowers and snake is often a combination that suggests someone who's kind of shallow and who pretends to be nice, but they're not. And this could be the case with this woman. The snake can definitely warn you against a certain person or certain people who could be envious of you or who don't want you to succeed. And so you want to make sure that you are discerning of the people you are sharing your creativity with or who are sort of in the environment where you do this. But a clear message from your guide and your source is that you do pursue your ambitions and your creativity. And when these difficult types show up, I think you're going to pick it up and you're going to know not to trust them. Now, another thing that can come through the snake is the idea that it advantages you. There are some people that you shouldn't share your thoughts or your work with because, you know, like we said, they can be deceptive, they could be jealous, they could try to sabotage your efforts and essentially work against you. So the snake works to warn you against such people and tell us what kind of people they are. But the snake also can encourage you to be smart and clever and to keep things to yourself and to be discreet. And some things need to just be kept under your hat. So again, very beautiful messages reconfirming this creative venture and activities that you need to release. And this sign also shows a relationship that you need to be careful of. Now, I am again inclined to look at this first part in terms of health because I'm seeing a lot of energy and these messages of healing and things coming back into action through the key and stork. The key is also a card of solutions, so it can very much bring up this sense of inspiration and hopefulness for an improvement in your health, whether it is in a serious situation or not. You know, it could still be inspiring for you. Now, in the context of health, this side of the line suggests someone who you might need to move away from. So I'm thinking, you know, someone like a health practitioner, a doctor, or someone else you had maybe been working with for your health or, you know, your well-being in general. And I don't think they're quite fitting for you. You know, the snake is quite a red flag, and it does suggest that you might go for another opinion and try something else. So again, just being careful about a certain person in your situation. So this is another very beautiful message. Let's look at message number 3. This is the blink of an eye deck. We're going to deal out another 7 cards and see what message number 3 is. Okay, here is a lovely line, again confirming these messages. Notice that we have the clover a second time and the book a second time, and we saw these two in the first line. And then we have the heart after the book. So this is lovely for pursuing things that you love. And it can also mean, in the context of relationships, some feelings that are not revealed. Now, could this reading be about relationships? We're going to look at the triplets when we finish this line, but definitely this element of pursuing your objectives is a clear message coming through in this reading. So in here, we've got the rider and the ship and also the road, and the road is right in the middle. These cards are active cards. They are cards of change and movement and being proactive. And we saw this with the stork, and actually we have the road in the first line as well. So that's another nice confirmation. We have the clouds in here, which can be a little bit challenging. It's not a big deal of a card, but it does point to confusion, complications, and things being unclear. So it's pretty clear to me that when you set out to pursue these objectives, unleash your creativity, and do all of that good stuff, you're going to face some challenges and things can be unclear. But don't worry about this. You're going to overcome it. It's a bit bumpy at first, but you're going to overcome it. We have the beautiful clover on the other side of the road that brings a lot of encouragement. And the book is again that element of creativity, like we suggested earlier. And it does point to the happiness that comes through pursuing your passions and this project. So this is another very clear line pointing to the path ahead and what it might look like with a few challenges, but that are going to be worth overcoming in order to get to this element of expression. So these are some really, really nice cards, and we have a clear message from your guides or your source to pursue this project, to pursue these goals. So with this said, let's look at the triplets for any additional messages and additional guidance. So the Clover, Sun, and Rider is another confirmation that this is definitely a positive path for you. The Rider can also be a messenger like news. And with the Clover and Sun, you're definitely going to get the green light. But remember, the Rider is a proactive card, so it is definitely an encouragement for you to move ahead. The next triplet is the Bear, Key, and Ship, and this is another lovely message of potentially a major breakthrough. With the Key and Bear, this could be a big opening, a big opportunity, and certainly with the Ship, this idea is supported. The Ship is an adventurous card, and with the Bear and Key, you've got everything it takes to go down this path and to really engage your ambitions. If the Bear is also someone in a position of power or support, we see here that they give you the green light and you could actually move ahead with your goals. The Ship is sometimes about travel, as is the Road, and we have the Road twice, sometimes the Rider. So if this involves traveling, it can also be really rewarding. Now, in this triplet, we have the Book, Stork, and Clouds. So this clearly suggests that you need to make an effort to solve any problems, do your research, dig into the details. If things are confusing, you need to, do the research and get in there, and you're going to figure things out. This could be about your plan. It could be about how you move ahead. And yes, there can be some complications as you move forward. I think, to be fair, if you're pursuing something like a creative project or other projects of passion, whether they're work related or not, you can expect that there is going to be a few issues that you need to iron out, just like we saw in the third message here. Now, the Sun with the flowers and Road is a lovely message for pursuing this path and going after your ambitions and your creativity. It's also a lovely triplet for healing, as is the Clover as Sun. Actually, anywhere you see the Sun, anywhere you see the Clover, flowers, Star in the first line, these are great cards for healing and wish fulfillment and success across the board. So this is another message encouraging you to move ahead, because like we saw, the Road is a card of change and movement. And here we've got the Road Ring and Clover, and this is lovely for really enjoying the process, enjoying the routine that's going to result out of pursuing your goals. And this is possibly also about a relationship because of the ring. And again, this looks to be quite supportive. Now, we did see some challenges with the snake in the second line, and we see a double snake in the sixth column here, the sixth triplet. So we have two snakes and a book. This is such a secret. It is so much about a secret. The snake by itself is about a secret. The book by itself is also secretive. So never mind when we have two snakes. There's definitely something that you need to keep under your hat. And I would say this whole thing needs to stay under your hat. So definitely be careful about who you share this with. And I would say you could be working in secret for a while. Then we've got the Star, Woman, and Heart, and this is actually quite nice for the relationship. It can work out really nicely. If this is about a relationship, or if a relationship is part of what unfolds, the guidance here, the message from your guides or source is possibly to give this a chance. But it could take a while. And it's going to be really important for you not to reveal your feelings, certainly not prematurely, and also take your time getting to know this person. It could be worth your while to take your time getting to know them, and also maybe playing hard to get because of the double snake and the book. But we do have the beautiful Star, Woman, and Heart, which is great for a relationship, and we have the lovely Ring and Clover. So it's really these two in the middle row, the middle message here, that could be a bit tricky with this relationship. But the last triplet, because it's on the far right here, it's at the end of the line. It can be related with an outcome. It can be associated with what happens after the situation. So it sounds like initially there's an exciting prospect in the relationship, and then there's a bit of a tricky phase, and then we have this lovely outcome here. It's possible we can read these cards in this way. So these are some very pretty messages for you. It's very clear that this is a confirmation for you to move ahead with your project or this lovely pursuit. So the cards could be pushing you forward. There is also a positive message for relationships, but along with the project guidance, the idea of secrecy is going to be really key. So this double snake and book is a very powerful triplet, really pointing to the need to be discreet. So what you're doing, at least for the time being, as you start working on this expression, on this project, you need to keep it to yourself. And there could be a few reasons. One of them is just that maybe it's premature to vocalize it too much, and for you could be working the whole process. And second, there could be some pretty envious people around you who could try to sabotage you, although there are other positive relationships as well. So I hope you're going to take this message positively, and I hope you're going to do something about these projects and pursuits that you have in mind, and avoid hesitating any longer, and take some steps forward, and expect that you are going to trip and make mistakes, and there could be issues that come up, and that is normal and part of the process, but it's definitely not meant to stop you from doing any of this. These are beautiful cards, beautiful cards. And one more thing in terms of healing, because I felt that that could be an area that comes up as well. You need to have faith in everything, because in yourself mainly, really, and in your ability to heal, because healing is definitely in the cards. And if there are people whom you feel are not helpful in this regard, then go for someone else. Look for another opinion. Keep inspiring yourself forward, and you could find yourself in a really positive situation. And you are going to find the right people. We do see this lovely line at the end, this triplet. So have faith in your path, move ahead, don't hesitate anymore, and go for it. I hope you've enjoyed these messages. I certainly look forward to your thoughts and your feedback. So I'd love it if you left me a comment for your perspective on these cards. Very best of luck with this. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, welcome to reading 2. Like we said, we are doing 3 messages here. We're looking into what your guides or source is telling you. And we are reading the lines independently, but we're going to connect them at the end of the reading through the triplets. So we're starting with line 1, which is message number 1 here with Titania's deck. Let's see what is the first message for you. Okay, here is the first line, and it does bring up a person into the picture. We have the dog, and we have it with the tower, which suggests that it could be someone you've known from before. And because of the flowers earlier, which is often a card of renewal, it's very likely that you are back in a relationship, or you are back in touch with someone. Now we have the whip and coffin, which point to a challenge or an ending. And so my feeling here is that you could have parted ways or have gone in separate directions. Maybe you had argued, but I feel because of this key here, which is a card of success and resolutions, it is precisely the card of problem solving. And we have the dog with the past card here. It's very likely that you and this person renew connection. So the message here could be that you are back in touch with this person, and perhaps it is on you, sort of, to reach back out. Earlier, we have the cross and flowers, and the cross and flowers is a card of a combination of renewal. The cross is a little bit challenging. I wonder if there might not be a bit of regret here that there has been this issue or the challenge between the two of you. But the key is a card of resolution, and it does suggest that you're able to reconnect with this person. The coffin is in the middle, so this can take a bit of time before it materializes, but it can also reflect the situation, which is this time apart. And again, I would have suggested it's an ending. I would have suggested that you move away from someone, but because we have the flowers earlier and the key after the coffin, which is a card of opening, along with the tower, which is an element of the past, it's quite likely that you and this person reconnect. So the message here can be a message of letting go and allowing for a renewal in the connection, and possibly also an element of forgiveness, because the flowers is often a card of forgiveness, and the cross is like a deeper, heavier card that can suggest, like we said, that element of regret. So with the flowers, it can refer to some kind of forgiveness. So you would be forgiving the issue or the problem that happened. And with the key, dog, and tower, it's quite likely that you and the other person reconnect. Now, in case you're not seeing that this is about reconnecting with someone, it can mean that you are able to let go and you are neutral about the situation. And to be fair, this is really the key in forgiveness, is that it doesn't affect you anymore. You know, whether you're with this person or not, what they do, what they don't do, the idea is that you are released from this and it doesn't have that bite anymore. So this is very key for healing. Now, the relationship, the dog, can represent any number of people and any kind of person. Typically, it is a friend, but it can also represent someone like a colleague or a sibling or just any other person. We're not seeing so much this romantic aspect of the card, so there might not be that element of romance, but this person is someone like a friend. And again, the key and flowers are quite hopeful in terms of reconnecting with this person. Now, in terms of work, for example, it can mean that you reconnect with a person, yes, but I also think that this could be a message for an opportunity, because in the work context, it's not like we go back to a previous job. This is not often, it's not the likely scenario, but you could have a connection that could help you move past a challenge. And it might not be someone you've been in touch with, or perhaps they're in a different place and there's a distance between you and that person, but they can still be supportive with this new opportunity or the changes that you could be going through at work. And in this sense, the whip and coffin can be challenging. They can suggest like you've left a job or there had been other sorts of challenges. So this is just an example of how we can apply the cards in an alternative way than just looking at it as a personal relationship. So the first message is a message of letting go and forgiveness and a likely reconnection with someone, and it proves supportive moving forward. So let's move on to message number 2. This is line 2. And we are using the Tarot Lenormand deck. And let's see what is the other message for you. Okay, here is line number 2, and we are seeing another clear message of change. This middle triplet here, we have the clouds, road, and scythe, and even the road and scythe by themselves, this is definitely a change of direction. And we have a similar dynamic. We also have the heart and woman, which represents a person, so another confirmation of the people cards. And earlier, we have the beautiful sun after the mouse that helps overcome these challenges. So we see the ending, we see the overcoming, and we see the person. We're seeing a very similar structure as what we saw in the first line. So the mouse and sun definitely helps you overcome any of the challenges represented by the mouse. And the mouse is really not a huge deal. It tends to represent smaller issues. It's much less challenging than the cards we saw in the top row. The clouds after the sun is very helpful for having an intention to clarify matters, but also because of the road and scythe, it's really important that you stop hesitating and wobbling and that you make the changes. So you could have been stuck, and that certainly aligns with the coffin. But at this point, you want to break away from the situation, change your approach. And we see here there's the heart and woman, which can mean reconnecting with this person. But I have to say also that because of the scythe and heart, this can be a heartbreak. So we are seeing a similar painful situation that we saw in the top row. So this is really the messages that we're seeing so far are very much about letting go of a hurt, letting go of a difficulty with a person. And we have both the flowers and sun, notice, in the same position, which are very bright, and they're going to help you to see things in a more positive light. But you certainly want to move past this at this point. And whether you are reconnecting with this person or not, it is very important that you move on from the challenges and from the past hurts and the situation that is keeping you stuck. And this line, I feel, suggests the personal aspect of the relationship more than any other context. So I think this is the more likely suggestion. But there can be the same dynamic in another context, like the work context. You might need to let go from a certain situation, a certain work situation, and move past people and challenges, and you could be looking at a big change. You could be moving jobs, and you could be changing directions in your work and your career as well. So these are some clear cards about change and letting go. But again, I feel that the main aspect here is about a release, and a release from a past hurt or a hurtful episode that probably involves a person. So this is interesting because if you felt that you can't move past this, if you've been feeling stuck in it, then these cards are very good messages that reassure you that you will be able to move past this situation. It might take a bit of effort, maybe a bit of intention setting, and really focusing on the idea that you can be past these issues. You can be on the other side of them. And sometimes just having a concept of that can really help you move past them. Changes are very clear in the cards, like the middle cards here. We've got the road and coffin and the scythe and whip and clouds. These are very strong cards for change and letting go. So let's move on to the third message here, and then we're going to put together the triplets. This is the blink of an eye, and we're doing line number 3, which is message number 3. Okay, here is line number 3, and the message of line number 3 is really clear, mainly because of the beautiful child, which is a new beginning, and we see as well the man and dog. So the relationship element is very clear in your reading. It really, the situation or the messages and the guidance here clearly revolve around a person. We saw the dog in the first line, the woman and heart in the second line, and we're seeing the dog again in the third line along with the man. The man and woman are people cards. They don't necessarily have to reflect different people or a man and a woman. They can be any two people. And so this middle triplet here, there is definitely a new relationship, and notice that it comes after the changes in the middle of the top 2 lines. And we have a beautiful combination with the clover and moon. And earlier here, there's an element of patience and of stability. So the line clearly points to a new relationship. So this is lovely for healing a past relationship and welcoming a new relationship. So the guidance of these cards are very, very clear, especially thanks to the bottom row. The anchor and lily are both cards of stability, and there is a sense of confidence and a sense of foundation in your life. I think these are great cards for finding yourself and finding your path, in contrast with the shakiness and the doubts and the issues that we see in the earlier lines. So it's a really fine message for saying and telling us that you're going to get over this situation, the past relationship, and you're going to find your purpose, your sense of direction again. And it's really out of this kind of stability that you're able to attract a new relationship. We see it with the man, the dog, and the child, and this points to a new relationship. Now, the dog is often a card of friends and friendships. Obviously, a relationship is going to start in this way. So it might be a new friendship, or it might evolve into a love relationship later on. It really depends on what this relationship is for you specifically, and also what you are overcoming. And then the clover and moon are very beautiful cards. The child and moon is a new phase, and the clover is certainly about luck. So it encourages you to move into this new beginning, and also to trust the process and to trust how it's going to unfold. And again, I feel this is more personal, possibly more romantic, but it can apply in other contexts as well, where maybe you're getting to know other people who could enable you to welcome a new opportunity in your life. The lily can be a card of career, and the moon can be a card of work and career. So you could be looking at a new phase after probably the tougher changes that we see at the top. So these, again, are a beautiful message of healing, overcoming a past relationship or a past situation, and welcoming new connections that open up opportunities. I think it really comes down to your healing. It really comes down to finding that space of neutrality, and, having the right mindset and being in your life, in your path, as opposed to, shall we say, externalized to these past issues and caught in them. Being caught in these ways, being stuck in these experiences, they can take away from experiencing our present. So this is very key for letting go and welcoming the new. So lovely messages here of healing and change. Let's look at these triplets. So the cross with the mouse and anchor is the challenges that you are facing or had been facing. The cross and mouse can point to regret and difficult emotions, but the anchor certainly supports you, and it creates a sense of strength. So trust yourself and don't hesitate and don't wobble about, your ability to move past them. I think there's a lot of inner work to do as well, where you need to, find that foundation. Now, the flowers and sun and lily are lovely for healing in general, and that you can be living a really good life and maybe living your best life moving forward. They're also great for work and career, but mainly it's about that foundation and that sense of well-being in your life as a whole. The whip, clouds, and man, these are challenges with a person, very clear. And the coffin, road, and dog is about moving on from a person. So again, we're seeing here the issues that came up in the first two lines especially, and that they have to do with relationships, both of these. The key with the scythe and child is lovely for a breakthrough. These are lovely cards for a new beginning. And the dog, heart, and clover is a lovely new relationship. I'm saying new because of the bottom row. We don't really see the new element from this triplet, but it certainly comes through with the child. And the tower, woman and moon, is also lovely for a longer term relationship where there's a nice connection here. These are also really good cards for the job and being on a secure path forward, and not necessarily the job, but really a situation that creates a foundation for the longer term. So this is a very lovely reading for healing. Trust the fact that you can heal, move past the relationships that didn't work out, and let go of all of the pain and challenges that you associate with it, and be willing to turn the page, because you are in for a wonderful new beginning. So it's really key to have faith in your ability to heal. It's really key to have faith in your ability to turn the page and attract new experiences. This is the clear message of these cards. Let me know how you resonated with them. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with this deep and lovely transition. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, welcome to reading 3. We are doing the 3 messages here from your guides or source. And we are starting with the first message, which is the first line with Titania's deck. So let's go ahead and see what is the first guidance that you get. Okay, here is your first line, and there are three very beautiful cards in here. We have the star, clover, and flowers, and all three cards are very beautiful. Now, at the end of the line, we have the tower and scythe, and this can point to a release from the past. So it sounds like you can heal and you can enjoy an opportunity that releases you from either a current situation or a past situation or a situation that had been dragging over some time. Now, what is interesting is the mountain in the middle. The mountain can be a card of obstacles and blockages, and it is also a card of locations and usually abroad, so farther from where you are. So the mountain can mean a couple of things here. It can suggest that you are looking at moving to a place abroad. And in this sense, the tower and scythe certainly mean a release from where you have been. And it can also suggest a blockage, in which case you are also able to release yourself from this blockage and move past it. So any way you look at the mountain, the cards in the line really support overcoming whatever it suggests and also breaking through into new adventure and opportunity. Earlier, we have the star with the bear and clover. This is a great combination for empowerment. The message here is definitely that you want to embrace your own power and that you want to step up to the next phase and also to pursue these adventures that you are after. And if this is about a move, then it encourages you to explore that. And if it's about getting past obstacles, it also encourages you to get past this. The bear is strong. It's a gutsy card. So it really gives you that motive and momentum to move past things. And it gives you the courage and confidence. So definitely pursue these objectives. Then with the flowers, with this tower and scythe, this is a great combination for release and forgiveness and letting go and finding again your sense of purpose and your sense of enthusiasm for what's ahead. Now, I'm not seeing relationship cards, but there can be a reconnection with someone, or it can mean that you let go of a past relationships and embrace a new opportunity. But the relationship aspect is not really coming through in this line. Instead, it's more about your pursuits, your objectives, and letting go of whatever had been holding you back. These are also really good cards for creativity and achieving bigger goals. The bear makes everything big. The star is a card of wish fulfillment, and it has that sense of overarching effect. And the flowers is also a lovely card for creativity. So you definitely want to pursue these objectives. And I think it's really time for you to release yourself into this opportunity. So you don't stay stuck anymore. Don't stay stuck in the past. Move past these issues. Make a decision to get over them and to embrace what's ahead. And if it's about travel, then you could be in also for a big change. And again, the cards appear to be really encouraging. The idea is really to get unstuck so that you can release this energy that you have. So a very beautiful set of cards. The first message is very clearly about having you let go and embrace what's ahead and embrace your creativity. Let's look at line number 2, the message number 2. This is with the Tarot Lenormand deck. So we're going to draw another line of 7, and we'll read it independently. But at the end of the 3 lines, after we've read them, we're also going to look at the triplets, and we'll see what other messages we get here for your guidance. Okay, here is line number 2. It's also very bright, lots of beautiful cards. We have the Sun and Key at the end of the line, and these are 2 wonderful cards for success and solutions and well-being. And earlier, we have some pretty good, positive and peaceful cards. It's really just the cross that's kind of interesting here. The cross can be challenging. It can suggest something heavy that weighs you down. This aligns with sort of what we saw in the first line, where the mountain could have been a bit of an obstacle. But the cross can also suggest something quite important and quite significant, not just for now, but for your life as a whole. So this change and the decision to move past whatever obstacle or even to make a move is very significant for your life as a whole. Now, the ship, house, and tree These are cards about where you live, how you live, your foundation. And the ship can point to a move. And we see that it's at the beginning of the line. Just like what we saw with the mountain, there could be a reference to a place abroad. And we've got the house, tree, and anchor. So you could move and find yourself in a new foundation, in a new place, in a new situation. And the tree is lovely. The anchor is also very strong and supportive. So it looks like you can grow roots in this new space. And the cross can be a bit of a challenge. Maybe as you adapt to this new location, to this new environment, there can be some challenges that come up. At the same time, we do have the beautiful sun and key, which resolves any of these issues. And you see that it is a very beautiful outcome, especially since they're at the end of the line. So if you're looking at a move, you may well make a move. This is a big deal. And it doesn't have to be a different country, but there are these changes that we're seeing in terms of your living situation, how you live, where you live. Now, if you're not seeing a physical move or a house move and these sorts of changes, the cards are still very beautiful for moving forward in a direction that creates a strong foundation in your life out of which you can build. The house with the tree and anchor, these are really good cards for being in a strong situation on a strong foundation. And we see earlier that you're pursuing this and you're putting in the effort to achieve this sense of stability and strength, and you are able to. The cross, again, can suggest some challenges in this context, but it is also highlighting the importance of all of this. And with the sun and key, we see a beautiful outcome, beautiful result here, and all around success. So the sun and key are very much in alignment with the star, clover, and flowers. And these are really bright cards. They shine so much light. They bring so much optimism and well-being, healing across the board, and certainly success with your ventures. So the message here is really to stick with your decision to make things work and to also look for that foundation out of which you can grow further. So it's really your goal to find that place, that space, whether it is a physical location, a physical space, or an inner space, or a setup in your life that creates this foundation and this stability. And, this isn't necessarily the easiest things to achieve, but you seem to be really on track. Like, we're not seeing challenging cards so far. And the Scythe, which is sometimes a challenging card, with the Tower is very much about a release from the past. And with the key, as we're going to see in the triplets, it is very much about a breakthrough and success. So you're very much on track to achieve your goals and achieve your foundation. And also, this is not something for the short term. This is something that affects your life as a whole and for the longer term. This is about your growth, the idea of stepping up to that level and achieving that kind of security that puts you on this strong path and a strong foundation. You're building for your life. You're not just doing something temporarily or over the coming phase. This could be quite decisive for how you live the rest of your life and the kinds of security and stability that you could create for yourself moving forward. And the cards can also affect other areas of your life, like at work. You could be moving past certain blockages and making changes in order to land yourself in a better work situation. And certainly once you do, you're going to be there for the longer term, and it's going to be quite fulfilling for you. So all sorts of projects are possible, or all sorts of activities are possible, but the idea is really the changes that need to happen in order to express your creativity, release your energy, and also create a secure situation around this. And so this could be, about your life and your life path and how you decide to live moving forward. So very bright cards. Again, in this line, I'm not seeing relationship cards. The house is a card of home and family, so it can bring up the closer relationships or inner circle, but we're not seeing people cards other than this. And in the context of your line, it's more about where you live, how you live, and the foundations in your life. So a very strong message here of success and a very strong foundation that you can make happen in your life. Let's move on to the third line, which is message number 3. This is the blink of an eye. And we're going to draw another 7 cards on top of these and see what is the third message, and perhaps it ties into the first 2 lines. Okay, here is your next line of 7. It's looking a lot more practical to me than the other 2 lines, which were a lot of that energy of strength. Here we're seeing smaller practical steps. We have news cards with the letter and bird along with the dog. So this is a relationship. We have the ring that is also a relationship. And we have the stork, which is an active and proactive card. The flowers is in the middle, which is a very beautiful success card. We saw it in the first line as well. Notice there are no challenging cards in these lines at all. No challenging cards. Like I said, the scythe can be challenging, but in this context, it is more about the release. So the lily with the stork and ring, you can be making changes in your career or your life in general. And this could bring up a relationship. And because of the flowers, it could be a renewal in a relationship. With the letter and bird and the dog, you could be reconnecting with someone, and you could be in touch with this person. This is someone who could be close to you, or someone who is helpful for your affairs in general, or it can be someone new that you meet in order to help you move forward with your goals. But you definitely want to tap into some relationships, and you want to get involved, and you want to be proactive and reach out in order to create this communication, because it sounds like this is someone who could help you moving forward. Now, independently from the other lines, you could be in touch with someone. There could be some really good connections with a friend. You could be back in touch with them, or it could be an ongoing relationship or a new one. The thing about the lily and stork is that the lily is kind of a bigger card. It's a bit like the bear and, these overarching cards. It affects your life as a whole, and it can affect your career direction. So that's why with the stork and ring, I suggested that this has to do with your involvements and your commitments and how you move forward in life. And it builds really nicely with the previous cards here, especially the house, tree, and anchor, where this is about the routine that you're going to create for yourself that's going to be the foundation for your life, and that's going to support your growth and create that stability and confidence in what you're doing. So you definitely want to be active, you want to be proactive, you want to get to work on this, and you want to get involved. And then with the flowers here, we have definitely a message of success and well-being. And with the letter, bird, and dog, there is contact with someone who seems to be relevant to the situation, or it could just mean that you are in touch with someone, or you're networking, and you're getting involved with others. So like I said, this line is a lot more practical. It's kind of smaller. It's like the trickle down of these big changes that we see at the top into your day-to-day. And so it gets you involved, it gets you moving, taking steps, collaborating with others as needed in order to make your successes happen. So really nice cards. And they're also great cards for a relationship. There could be a relationship that is growing. You could be making deeper connections with someone. And it can lead to a longer term commitment, although on this side, it remains a bit light. So the ring is a deeper card for relationships than the dog and then the letter and bird. The letter and bird are really just about communication, but the ring is about commitment. So it is a card that can deepen the relationship. So very beautiful messages. The guidance here is to get to work on this and to reach out as needed in order to make your successes happen. So the guidance at the top is really about this bigger alignment, getting past obstacles, releasing the past. The guidance in the middle is really about creating this strong foundation and finding your success in this foundation. And the third line is the day-to-day, the more practical elements of what you need to do in order to align with this goal every day. or the bigger picture of your life every day. So these are some really nice cards. And again, no challenging cards whatsoever. Looking at the triplets here, we have the Starship and Lily. Again, this could bring up travel because of the ship, or you could be pursuing some bigger objectives. It's very clear that you need to be pursuing your bigger goals. So I would say if you had been distracted, it's really time to stop being distracted. You have to move on, and you have to get more serious about your bigger goals. And I think once you do, you will find that confidence and that sense of fulfillment. The bear with the house and stork, this could be a move, and a big move. This could be a big deal, or you are making changes in your setup, but a move is really possible, at least for some of you. The clover with the tree and ring is lovely for your commitments, for sticking with what you're doing, for creating a strong foundation in your life, and really for relaxing into this routine that you know is what is going to lead to your success. It's also a really good combination for relationships. So a relationship could be growing and deepening, and you want that to happen. Now, the mountain and anchor is very much about a location abroad and having a foothold abroad. And with the flowers, it could be a place that you go back to. So again, we're seeing this move and this connection with another place. And if it's not about a move for you, then it is definitely about finding your strength, getting past obstacles, and being committed to coming back into play and coming back in alignment with your creativity. This could be a really relieving combination. It does take some commitment on your part. It takes the willpower to get past any of these blockages and to release yourself into this creativity and expression. So really nice cards in here. The flowers with the cross and letter, this could be some very important communications. There is an element of reaching out. You have to take some steps here, tangible steps, in order to start working towards this. And the cross and letter can suggest an important sign or an important piece of news that is part of your success and part of what enables you to embrace your creativity and, this next phase of where you're establishing yourself in alignment with your bigger goals. So very exciting. The tower with the sun and bird is lovely news and a lovely release, and I think a whole lot of excitement. You could be landing a job, an important job. You could also be connecting with people who are supportive. You could achieve bigger goals. So the tower here can play a few different roles depending on your specific situation. But the sun is generally bright, so really bright, and it generally shines its light. So there's good news, there's release and relief, and also a sense of empowerment and growth. Now, the scythe with the key and dog is a breakthrough with the help of a friend. So someone could help you, with achieving your goals, or they could give you some ideas or even an answer to what you are pursuing. So again, this idea of communicating that we saw with the bottom row pays off, as we see in this triplet here. The scythe and key is a breakthrough, and the key and dog is a helpful friend, someone who comes with answers. So these are some really bright cards. I think overall, it might even be fair to say that you are shape-shifting your life setup. This could be a big deal. You could be making some big changes in your life in order to align with your bigger goals. So this could take a lot of courage, I have to admit. And we do have these strong cards, we have the bear, mountain, anchor, house, and tree, and these are all very solid cards. And the tower is one of them as well, where there is a sense of being committed to making this happen, being committed to creating that strong foundation in your life so that you can build, towards your ambitions, and really so that what you do in life is aligned with what you want to do. And you now have an opportunity to first commit to this. So this is the inner work, and then to start making things happen, which we see clearly in the bottom row. So a very exciting message here from your guides and your source. I hope you take this as a sign to really commit to what you want to do and the bigger objectives in your life. Of course, this assumes that you know what these objectives are. But if you don't, which I don't think you don't, I think you do know, you will find your answers, and there is a lot of clarity in these cards. I have to say, we're not seeing wobbliness, we're not seeing confusion, we're not seeing this change, changeability. We're seeing some really strong, solid cards. There's so much focus in the cards, and the scythe is so sharp. The bear, the house, tree, anchor, mountain, and tower, these solid cards. We have the ring, which is a card of commitment. We have the scythe, which is very sharp and decisive. And we have a whole lot of bright and positive cards. And we have the lily and tower. And these are cards that really highlight your life as a whole, along with the tree. So these are very powerful cards that are really aligning you with your bigger objective. So really, I would say the message is no more playing around. No more playing around with the little things and the distractions. This is now the bigger deal for you that needs to materialize, and you need to make it happen. So this is the time to grow up and up to this, and to live your best life, and to live the life that you want to live. I hope you're ready for this. If you're not, let me know and tell me what you're going to do about it. And if you are, tell me also if you're going to start lining up towards this and what that looks like for you. I'd be really curious to know if you're willing to share. A very beautiful set of cards. I hope you agree. I hope you resonate with this. Let's close this reading here. Again, I certainly look forward to your feedback. This is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. Very best of luck with this. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.